Hey y'all, hey, so it is National Foster Care Month, and y'all know I love telling the story of how our family came to be, especially in May because of National Foster Care Month. And I know that a lot of you have already heard this story, so if you have, keep scrolling, but we get so many new followers all the time, and so if you haven't heard this story, stick around. So me and my husband were only becoming foster parents to assist in a community where there was a need. We did not know there was even a such thing as foster to adopt. I don't know if I went to sleep during that foster care class or what, but honey, I never knew that was a thing. I barely even knew about foster care. I was listening to a radio ad one day riding down the street with my mama. I was like, oh, okay. The number of children in foster care in my community shocked me, and I wrote the number down. Few weeks later, not even really thinking about the number, not even thinking about becoming a foster parent for real. Out of the blue, I just asked my husband, "You want to become a foster parent?" And he was like, "I mean, I guess if you want to." And I was like, "Okay." I called the number. They immediately scheduled us an appointment for the next day. I was like, "Oh my God, hold on, wait a minute." Now, after we discussed becoming a foster parent with Zaria, because, of course, Zaria is my biological daughter. She is not Ricardo's biological daughter. I know people get confused about that. I thought y'all had one biological daughter. We do. I do, from a previous relationship. Just me and my husband don't have any biological children. Y'all follow me? Okay. So after we discussed it with Zaria, she was like, oh, yeah, she wanted siblings anyway. So she was game, we went to the foster care classes, and, honey, after we finished, it took about 8 months. Honey, all this stuff, very intrusive, and I'm glad they do all of these things. It took about 8 months, got through the home study, all of these things, and honey, the ink barely dried on the paper before we got a call for Aiden, okay? Now, we didn't have any stipulations. Now, we did have one. I'm going to tell y'all in a minute. But with fostering, you can have, I guess, stipulations. You can have age, disability, race, gender, and you can put all those things down, but it's no guarantee that you're gonna get a call, and it's gonna match your specification. We were just trying to be foster parents to children in need, so we didn't specify. The only specification we had is that we wanted a child 4 and up. We had an age specification. We didn't have a disability, a race, a gender, a religion, any of that. We just wanted the children to be walking, talking, halfway feeding yourself and get ready to go to school. So get on out the house, look like a child of the corn. You are. So our first foster child, Aiden, fit the description. He was right at 4 years old, and, when he came, they was like, well, he don't want black foster parents. And he told me that. He was like, I don't like black people. I was like, well, I don't hate. Well, you get what you got, baby. You take it or leave it. I don't know what to tell you. But I've told this story before, and if you want to hear this somewhere on my page, baby, you're going to have to scroll. Now, after Aiden, baby, I was not getting ready to be a foster parent no more, because I was like, this little boy got me chopped. Like, baby, he off the chain. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, sir, please. But, as much as Aiden tried to, not be in our home because we was black, the more I was like, boy, go sit down somewhere. Because at this point, ain't nobody got time for your shenanigans. All right? Like, if we was really doing something to you, it would be one thing. But, baby, ain't nobody doing that to you. But over here, we trying to love you. We trying to support you. We trying to encourage you until you're able to be reunified with your biological parents. So go sit down in the corner somewhere, okay? Now, between Aiden and Princeton, we had several calls. We had a set of twins. Baby, I had to let them go real quick. I was like, oh man, maybe that might be another stipulation. I ain't know, baby. Them twins about took me out. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. We had a couple teenagers, and people always think that teenagers are gonna steal. They think they're gonna sneak out. Honey, let me tell you something. A teenager is a teenager is a teenager, whether they're in foster care or they're your biological child, okay? So don't give teenagers in foster care a bad rap, because all teenagers got bad raps to me, all right? It's all of them. All of them are teenagers of the corn, okay? Then we get a call for a 7-month-old baby girl. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, because up until then, all of our fosters had been 4 and up. So when we get a call for a 7-month-old, I was like, They was like, well, it's only respite. She's literally getting ready to go back to her biological parents in about a week. So I was like, okay, well, that's very short term. Cool. Within 3 minutes, my foster care supervisor called me back, and she was like, actually, we have a baby, a newborn. He's 3 days old. We think that you would be better suited because of your schedule. I had a flexible schedule at the time, and he's also respite. I said 3 days old. Nazaria can hear me. She like, Mama, take the baby. I was like, give me a second. So I had to call Ricardo. Ricardo was like, do not take that baby. We agreed we was not going to take no babies, whatever. So I called the foster care supervisor back. She said, what your husband say? I said, he said, just go ahead and take the baby. Now, the reason why I agreed to take the baby, because A, the baby was going to be respite, so very short term. And B, it only required me. And so I said, well, it's not going to put any strain on my husband because the baby was in NICU. So I was going to be the one going back and forth to the hospital. So I thought. 30 days later, Boots is still at the hospital. I said, wait a minute, when is the child? First of all, I get up to the hospital and I give them the code. I'm like, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where is the baby? Hand the baby here. She was like, read the number again. She said, it's this little baby right here. I said, oh, Lord, the little white pale baby. Hand him here. Baby, I done stuck him down in the little pocket because let me tell y'all something. I never got the opportunity because I had medical things going on when Zaria was born to do skin to skin with her. I didn't have an opportunity to breastfeed. I didn't have an opportunity to do any of that. So when they told me to do skin to skin with this baby, they should have gave me a class first because I didn't know what that looked like. And I know that might sound ignorant, but I'm like, skin to skin. But I didn't want to tell the nurse that I didn't know what they meant by that. So they gave me a gown to put on, right? And I had to put one of those little, medical things on your hair and all this. And it was a pocket on the gown. Now, I know this is ignorant, but he was so tiny, he had to be like 1.5 pounds, so he could slide down in that pocket. So I put him in the pocket, child. The nurse was like, girl, I know you lied. Come here, let me show you. She was like an older nurse, like a grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, give me that baby, because you over here acting crazy. So she showed me how to do skin to skin with the baby, whatever. I, did skin to skin with the baby. And then when he got discharged, 60 days later, he was going home with us. And I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. It's a 22. So needless to say, he didn't go home either, baby. Him and Aiden was determined to stay, okay? And so, 2.5 years go by and we adopted Princeton. We adopted Aiden when he was 5 years old. We had him since he was 3.5. And we do open adoption. So our children, all of them, Carly, Aiden, and Princeton, they're all connected to their biological family members, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I know people always say, oh, well, we don't never see Aiden's biological family because they've asked me not to put them on here, and I respect them, their wishes. But trust me, he do get an opportunity to talk to them. He do get an opportunity to see him when they can. Aiden's biological family live across the country. I said, no, they used to live close. Now they've moved far. But, we'll get together when we can. But listen, if y'all are seriously thinking about becoming foster parents, think again. And I say that because go to therapy, heal any of your childhood trauma so you don't pass it off to the foster children or your biological children, but especially those foster children. Don't come in here thinking you their mama and daddy, because you're not. You're not. I always remember that the first goal of foster care is reunification. Okay? Tuck your feelings away, baby. Yes, we're gonna have feelings. Big ones. Especially when they reunify, but don't sabotage the process just because you feel like you want to now be take the biological parent's place. No, it don't work like that, child. Anyway, I know a lot of y'all think that Carly came through foster care. She didn't. Carly and Zaria was just happened to be best friends at school, and that's how we met Carly. So she don't have a foster care story. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. But anyway, y'all, that's us in a nutshell. Child, that's our little foster care story in a little nutshell right there. Baby, I'm glad about it. I thank God for it. It's not always about our plan. It's never about our plans. Our plans never work out. But God knows the plans that he have for you. And it's always better. Better. Bigger and better. Okay? Neater, sweeter, and completer. All right. Bye.